The champagne flute felt suddenly heavy in my hand as Brenda's voice carried across the country club patio. Maybe try getting a real job like normal people. She waved her mimosa toward me like a conductor's baton, and I watched the golden liquid catch the sunlight. The same way her diamond tennis bracelet caught it, the same way everything about her screamed, "Look at what I have." My father's fork paused halfway to his mouth, eggs Benedict suspended in that careful space between the plate and commitment. Around us, the Sunday brunch crowd pretended not to listen while absolutely listening. I could feel their attention like static electricity. This consulting thing, what even is that? Walking into companies and telling them what to do? Brenda laughed, touching up her lipstick between critiques. The coral shade matched her manicured nails exactly. David, tell your daughter about real careers, stable careers like mine in pharmaceutical sales. The question burning through my mind wasn't whether to tell her I'd just closed the acquisition of her company. It was whether she'd recognize me when I walked into her office as the new owner in 48 hours. My name is Samantha. I'm 28 and I'm a private equity managing partner. This is the story of how I taught my stepmother the real meaning of job security. I set down my coffee with deliberate care. I like consulting. It's flexible. Flexible is code for unemployable. Brenda examined her reflection in a silver spoon, smoothing an imaginary imperfection. Look, I get it. Not everyone can handle corporate life. The pressure, the competition, the real responsibility, but maybe start somewhere entry level. I could put in a word at MedTech Corporation. We always need administrative assistants. We'd been through this routine for 6 months, ever since Dad married Brenda after a whirlwind romance that started at his retirement party and ended at a Vegas chapel. She was 15 years younger, ambitious, and deeply concerned about what she called the family image. That's kind of you, I said. Someone has to look out for you. Clearly your father's been too soft, letting you drift around with no direction. I appreciate your concern. Even worse, these are your prime earning years. She leaned back, swirling her mimosa. While you're consulting, I'm pulling in 6 figures plus bonuses. Just last quarter, I moved $3.2 million in products. That's real contribution to society. Selling opioids is definitely a contribution, I agreed. Her face flushed pink beneath the foundation. Pharmaceutical solutions for legitimate pain management, and it's honest work, transparent. Not like showing up at companies and, what do you even do exactly? Different things for different clients. See? That's not a real answer. That's what people say when they're embarrassed. She turned to my father. David, we need to stop enabling her. No more loans, no more bailouts when her little projects fail. I've never asked Dad for money, I said quietly. Because you're too proud, which is why you're still driving that embarrassing car and wearing whatever this is. She gestured vaguely at my simple navy dress. Dad finally spoke up. Brenda, that's enough. I'm trying to help her. Someone has to be honest. In the real world, the corporate world, appearance matters. Success matters. Stability matters. You're absolutely right, I said. Stability is important. She brightened. So you'll let me set up that interview. Entry level, but at least it's a foot in the door. Show up on time, dress professionally, borrow something from me if you need to, and try to look interested when they explain the filing system. I'll think about it. Don't think too long. MedTech doesn't hire just anyone. Even for admin roles, we have standards. The irony was delicious. MedTech Corp, where Brenda had worked for 12 years, was hemorrhaging money from lawsuits over aggressive opioid marketing. That's why Sterling Equity, my private equity firm, had been able to acquire them for pennies on the dollar. We'd close the deal Friday. Today was Sunday. Tomorrow, I'd be walking into their headquarters as the new owner. The rest of brunch passed with Brenda outlining my many failures against her many successes. The time she'd won Salesperson of the Month. The conference in Miami where she'd worked with major players. The promotion she was certain was coming. Regional Vice President, she preened. My manager hinted it's in the works. Of course, with my numbers, it's obvious. I've been carrying my team all year. Congratulations, I said. See? That's what real careers look like. Linear progression, clear hierarchies, not whatever you do. Floating from company to company like corporate driftwood. As we waited for the valet, Brenda couldn't resist one final dig. That dress, is it from Target? No judgment. We all start somewhere. I remember when I could only afford discount stores, but that was before I got serious about success. It's comfortable, I said. Comfort is laziness disguised as a choice. Successful people embrace discomfort. That's how we grow. My Honda Civic arrived first, 10 years old, reliable, and apparently mortifying. The valet looked apologetic, handing over the keys. Brenda's leased BMW pulled up next, gleaming with implied superiority. "Think about what I said," she called out. "Real job, real future. I'm only hard on you because I care." Monday morning arrived with autumn sunshine and a series of encrypted messages from my team. I dressed carefully, not the power suit Brenda would expect from a CEO, but a simple charcoal pantsuit that said competence without ostentation, the kind of outfit that could blend into any level of corporate hierarchy until you noticed the details, the perfect tailoring, the $800 shoes that looked like they cost $80, the Patek Philippe watch that appeared normal until you recognized the movement. MedTech Corp's headquarters occupied a gleaming tower in the financial district. I'd been there before during due diligence, but always after hours with the acquisition team. This was my first time walking through the front door during business hours. "Name?" the security guard asked. "Samantha Chen. I have a 9 a.m. with the transition team." He checked his list, did a double take, checked again. "Miss Chen, the new CEO." "Yes." "Welcome, ma'am. Let me get you a badge and escort." "No escort necessary. I know where the conference room is." The executive elevator required a special key, which the guard provided with slightly shaking hands. As I rose to the 20th floor, I thought about Brenda, probably somewhere in this building right now, preparing for her Monday morning sales meeting. No idea her world was about to shift. The conference room was packed. Legal team, HR directors, department heads, outgoing leadership, all assembled around a massive oak table. They stood when I entered. "Good morning," I said, taking my seat at the head. "Let's begin." The next 2 hours were presentations, transitions, strategic adjustments. I'd done this before with other acquisitions, but MedTech was special. Not just because of Brenda, but because the company represented everything wrong with pharmaceutical sales. Aggressive marketing, questionable ethics, profits over patience. "The sales restructuring," my CFO said, sliding a document across the table. "We'll be eliminating several regional positions and refocusing on ethical prescribing practices." Which regions? Southwest, primarily. That's where the most aggressive tactics have been documented. Brenda's region. At 11 a.m., word went out. All hands meeting in the main auditorium, mandatory attendance. Rumors had been flying since security guards started updating access badges and IT began password resets. MedTech's 3,000 employees filed in with the nervous energy of people who knew change was coming. I watched from backstage as Brenda entered with her sales team. Still confident, still checking her phone. She'd chosen a seat in the middle, visible enough to be seen as a player, not so front as to seem eager. The outgoing CEO made brief remarks about exciting transitions before introducing me. I walked onto the stage to polite, confused applause. Most employees had no idea who I was. To them, I probably looked like another consultant. "Good morning. I'm Samantha Chen, managing partner of Sterling Equity and your new CEO." The auditorium went silent. I could see Brenda from the stage, her face cycling through confusion to recognition to dawning horror. I know change is unsettling, but I want to be transparent about our direction. I outlined the vision: ethical practices, sustainable growth, accountability for past mistakes. Effective immediately, we're restructuring our sales division. The days of pushing volume over patient welfare are over. Some positions will be eliminated. Others will be retrained. Anyone who can't adapt to ethical selling has no place in our future. The auditorium buzzed. Brenda's face had gone pale. "I'll be meeting with each department this week," I continued. "My door is open. I believe in leading by walking around, not hiding in an executive suite. You might see me in the cafeteria, the sales floor, even the parking garage. Because real leadership means understanding every level of the organization. Questions?" A hand shot up. I answered honestly about layoffs, about direction, about my background in private equity, with a focus on distressed assets. Then Brenda stood. Even from the stage, I could see her hands shaking. Do you have pharmaceutical experience?" I have experience identifying what's broken and fixing it. In MedTech's case, what's broken is a culture that prioritizes sales over ethics. The lawsuits speak for themselves. But sales drive revenue. Lawsuits drive bankruptcy. We're facing $2.3 billion in potential litigation from aggressive opioid marketing. That stops now. She sat down hard. Around her, colleagues were already distancing themselves, the corporate survival instinct kicking in. After the meeting, department heads scattered to break the news to their teams. I made my way to the sales floor where Brenda's manager was already in crisis mode. "Miss Chen," he practically ran to intercept me. "About the sales restructuring, my team has always operated within guidelines." "Has it?" I pulled up a tablet. "Records show your region has the highest rate of prescriber kickbacks, dinners, trips, consulting fees that are barely disguised bribes." "That's industry standard." Was past tense. Behind him, I could see Brenda at her desk, frantically pulling files, probably trying to hide evidence of the very practices I'd already documented. "I need all regional managers in conference room C in an hour. We'll discuss who stays and who goes." The meeting was brutal. I laid out the evidence. Falsified call reports, kickbacks disguised as speaker fees, pressure tactics on doctors who tried to reduce prescribing. 3 managers were terminated on the spot. 2 others accepted demotions with retraining requirements. Brenda tried to defend herself. These were approved strategies. Corporate knew. Previous corporate. I'm current corporate, and I don't approve. You can't just come in and destroy everything we've built. What you've built is facing federal investigation. Did you think the lawsuits would just disappear? That families affected by overprescribed medications wouldn't seek accountability? I was following orders. And now you're following new ones. Effective immediately, you're on administrative leave pending investigation into your sales practices. Investigation for what? I pulled up her file on the conference room screen. Falsifying call reports, providing kickbacks exceeding federal limits, pressuring physicians to prescribe beyond medical necessity. Should I continue? Her face had gone white. I need this job. My car lease, my condo. The BMW you leased to impress clients, the condo you bought with bonuses from pushing pills. Maybe you should have thought about sustainability before lecturing me about real jobs. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You built a life on other people's misery. Now it's crumbling. That's not my fault or my problem. The conference room had gone silent. Other managers stared at their hands, their laptops, anywhere but at Brenda's unraveling composure. "This is personal," she said finally, voice shaking. "You're doing this because of brunch." "I'm doing this because your sales practices are unethical and illegal. The fact that you spent Sunday morning mocking my career while sitting on a pile of documented violations, that's just irony." Security escorted her out 20 minutes later, cardboard box in hand. The great pharmaceutical sales success story reduced to a security escort and a damaged reputation. I returned to my office and was preparing to leave for the day when Dad called that evening. "Samantha, what happened?" Brenda came home in tears. Something about her company being taken over. "Sterling Equity acquired MedTech. I'm restructuring to avoid bankruptcy from the lawsuits." Silence. Then, "Sterling Equity, that's your company?" "One of them." "But you said you were a consultant." "I am. I consult with the companies I buy to make them profitable and ethical. It's very fulfilling work." "Brenda's been put on leave. She says you targeted her." "I targeted unethical sales practices. She happened to be one of the worst offenders." "You could have warned us at brunch when she was offering to help. When she was explaining how I needed a real job, when she offered to get me an entry-level interview at the company I'd just bought. That brunch? This is cruel, Samantha." "No, Dad. Cruel is pushing addictive drugs to make quota. Cruel is mocking your stepdaughter for career choices you don't understand. This is consequence." She could lose everything. Then she'll understand what families dealing with prescription drug crises have lost. Perspective can be educational. He hung up. I wasn't surprised. Dad always chose the path of least resistance, and right now that meant supporting his wife's victim narrative. Over the next 8 months, MedTech transformed. We settled the major lawsuits, retrained the sales force, and pivoted to non-addictive pain management solutions. The federal investigation concluded with hefty fines, but no criminal charges against the company, thanks to our immediate cooperation and policy changes. Revenue dropped initially, but stabilized as hospitals began trusting our ethical approach. Brenda's investigation revealed what I'd suspected: falsified reports, illegal kickbacks, pressure tactics that bordered on criminal. She avoided prosecution by agreeing to a lifetime ban from pharmaceutical sales and forfeiting her bonuses. Without income to support her lifestyle, she lost both the BMW and the luxury condo within 3 months. Last I heard, she was working as a receptionist at a medical clinic, entry level as she'd recommended for me. 6 months after that confrontation, Dad reached out asking if we could meet. Dad and I didn't speak for all that time until we finally had coffee. He looked older, tired. "She left me," he said simply. "Said I should have warned her about you." "Warned her about what? That I'm successful? That you're formidable. She thought you were a failure." I let her think it because it was easier than explaining. Explaining what? That your daughter built a private equity empire by 28, that the consulting she mocked was actually corporate turnarounds worth billions, that the old Honda was a choice, not a necessity. Would she have been nicer if she'd known? He laughed bitterly. Probably, but that's the point, isn't it? She showed you exactly who she was when she thought you were nobody. And you let her. I did. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry she's gone? Both, he admitted. But mostly sorry I didn't defend you. Your mother would be ashamed of me. He paused, staring into his coffee. Brenda and I finalized the divorce 2 months ago. She blamed me for not protecting her from you, as if I could have changed what she'd built her career on. The marriage was over the moment she walked out with that cardboard box. She also said you avoided conflict. She also said you inherited her backbone. Guess she was right. We rebuilt slowly, Dad and I. Without Brenda's toxic influence, he remembered how to be proud of his daughter's accomplishments instead of apologizing for them. He even started bragging about my work to his golf buddies. My daughter? Oh, she's in private equity, buys broken companies and fixes them. Very boring stuff unless you like making millions while improving lives. As for me, I kept the Honda. It runs perfectly, gets great gas mileage, and reminds me that real success doesn't need to announce itself. It just walks into conference rooms and changes everything. Here's what I learned from Brenda. People reveal their true character when they think you're powerless. She saw what she thought was a struggling consultant and showed me exactly who she was. Someone who measured worth by car leases and job titles, who confused aggression with ambition, who built success on other people's suffering. The best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's letting them prove themselves wrong while you watch from a position they never saw coming. Sometimes wearing a simple navy dress, sometimes carrying a cardboard box. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button. You never know who else needs to hear it. Drop a comment if you've ever been underestimated by someone who should have known better. And subscribe because I've got more stories about what happens when people mistake quiet confidence for weakness. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.